Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Wait, Are These Guys Friends? I am Mike, and I am here with Randy. Randy, we took a week off, so how have your 2 weeks been?
Uneventful, which has been kind of nice. I've gotten a chance to watch some other things and to just relax a little bit more. So it's been good. It's not overly busy, which is nice to have every once in a while.
I'm confused. I thought you had a 24/7, 365-day-a-year lacrosse schedule for your son. Is that not accurate?
It doesn't start till September, so now he is just
You get a
practicing
1 month off
sometimes.
season from the 14 leagues your son is in. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
That's good.
Only 11 months out of the year. It's good.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, the main episode today, we were debating if we could get Naked Gun in there, but neither one of us had the time to squeeze it in. We obviously talked Superman in our previous episode. So this one is mainly going to be Happy Gilmore 2 and Fantastic Four First Steps. It's been a good summer for films, and I still want to see Naked Gun. There's been a lot coming out this summer compared to other years, and I'm like, I would like to take the time to watch that.
Naked Gun getting a lot of good buzz too. I'm hearing a lot of good things from it.
So hyped for what is apparently a fun movie. I'm so glad they didn't fuck it up. So yes, Superman, as said, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. We really enjoyed it. And there was one port, I wouldn't say part and point, and that did not go well for me. There was a part where we talked about a quote from Zack Snyder and Crypto. Now, a lot of people hit us up, and I mean a lot of people, saying that quote was fake. But then there are other people being like, it's real. My takeaway, and I commented this several times, I couldn't keep up with all of them, but I tried to reply to this a few times, that to me, if it is fake, the fact that I instantly believed it shows the problem with Zack Snyder's Superman, and that could and should maybe be the biggest takeaway. Before I read some of these responses, would you be inclined to agree with that?
I would, yeah. I mean, you've built up that reputation already that it's not that hard to think that's where that came from.
One of the very first quotes we got was, "This is not a real quote. Your hate for Snyder is wild." And I went, honestly, not wrong. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't really enjoy his stuff.
And justified, in my opinion. But
that same person replied back, "The worst part is you're keeping us up to be spreading lies. The new Superman is perfect for you guys." To which I responded, I mean, I was trying to think of a response, but yes, I loved it. You're absolutely right. Like, I don't think that's the dig you thought that was. Because, yeah, the new movie kicks a lot of ass. So we said in the clip that based on the quote, it was that Jonathan Kent, the quote was specifically that Jonathan Kent put down Crypto to teach Clark the fragility of life, right? There was never any indication, real or fake, in the quote about Crypto was sick or he had to put mercy. The quote was specifically to teach Clark the fragility of life.
Right.
We got this back. Yes, well, many people put their animals down when they are sick and old because they don't, and they spelled because wrong. They don't want them to suffer with pain. It's not explicitly stated why Kent put the dog down, but when you say put the dog down, it usually implies they're sick or dying. So yeah, that shows the maturity in this podcast, that of a 4-year-old. To which I said, yes, we are definitely immature. But I also said that it was explicitly to teach Clark a lesson and pair with Pa Kent being kind of callous. To which they said, well, explicitly doesn't mean he shot it that way, dude. It's a stretch. And yes, it proves the immaturity because you do not understand the concepts. Because the world isn't about unicorns and taking a 3-hour dump. Teaching him that he cannot save everything and everyone is the most human thing he could learn. Again, the dog could have been injured by a car, or old and dying, or just dying of sickness. Putting an animal down and not letting it suffer is the smartest and most humane thing you could do. Pause.
Can I respond?
What?
Can I respond? Oh.
Yes, please.
Dear commenter, you're a stupid head. Love, Randy.
Listen, that's a little immature for my taste. I want to put that out there. I was hoping you were going to come back with a eloquent, well-regarded response.
Nope.
And you went with the equivalent of Mr. Poopy Pants. So great work
better.
out of you.
Can I do that instead of stupid head?
Well, yeah, but you got to say it like Leslie Nielsen in The Naked Gun.
Yes.
Was that the first one or the second one?
I can't remember.
I can't.
I
I
need,
just
I need to go
remember.
back and watch those before I go see the movie.
Agreed. I just remember Leslie Nielsen going, "Oh, no," it's because I remember Priscilla Presley goes, "Listen, we can all be mature about this." It's the second one because he looks at Robert Goulet right after she says that. He goes, "Yes, I can be mature. Can you, Mister Poopy Pants?"
Right.
And I will have that line delivery in my head forever and ever and ever.
No, I was doing that just to be facetious, but I would say that's taking, I think, too narrow a view of looking at it. We
Yeah,
are taking one interpretation, this commenter is taking another, and then just assuming that our interpretation is wrong.
yeah, I would buy that.
That's how I would respond to that.
And then there's just a few others, but one person that just commented, "Damn, let it go, bro." To which I say, I can't. I just can't. The quote, fake, great, whatever. But man, I hated everything about the Snyderverse, and I'm just being blunt about it
Yeah,
now. I tried to dance around it. I fucking
we're
could
not
not
alone
stand those
there.
movies.
This isn't like a unique take. I mean, so
Correct. Yeah, it's just like I don't know what to tell you anymore. But thank you for engaging. You helped
yes.
our traffic a lot. Because remember, we want your positive comments and love, but your negative comments still drive our traffic. So come on by and come on down.
They're both algorithmic. We love it.
Yeah. Oh, algorithmic. Is that inappropriate?
Yeah. Maybe it'll get a comment.
Oh, yeah. But I believe I had asked, listen, you got anything else? Because I don't. You'd said you had one other thing you watched that you'd love to discuss, so I'll turn the floor over to you and, sell me on it.
I briefly texted you about it because I just watched it. I guess it would have been 2 nights ago. And it's a show on a limited series on Netflix called Adolescence. It is a heavy topic. I will not lie. It is about a 13-year-old who is
A lacrosse player?
no, this is an unfortunate segue.
Okay.
Who is accused of murdering one of his classmates. So yeah, so we could dive.
So he's
there,
a lacrosse player. No, I'm gonna stop.
right.
I'm done.
By all accounts, in the beginning, of the first episode, this is a kid that's doing well in school. That seems to be, no one is the wiser. The parents are confused by it. Kind of as it develops, that the police have a lot of damning evidence, and so it's just kind of how that goes throughout. There's 4 episodes. They kind of know the what, or they don't know the why, and I think that's what they're trying to determine. And some things, and they enter in some things about social media bullying, about what certain things mean on social media, what they're so the storytelling and the acting is awesome anyway. Like, it would be great even if it was just this. The incredible part of it is each episode is a single take. I'm going to say that again. Each episode is a single take.
Oh, ho, ho.
50 minutes of a single take. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Quick question, without looking up trivia for this, which, by the way, does it say, okay, it says it in the wiki at the first top. Is it
I didn't know it when I started to watch it. I just heard it was like really good TV. And then after the fact, as I'm looking up reviews, I was just like, oh shit, you're right.
Is it a genuine single take, or is it a fake single take where it looks seamless, but there's...
I think there is VFX to help like reflection on like windows and stuff, but I think that's it. Like, it is
interesting.
Legitimately, they talk about one in the second episode towards the end. There is a chase scene that then goes back to the middle school or the primary school, and then goes to a drone shot to go to a different place. And I looked it up, and the way they did it was, it's basically handed off, like there's 2 people that are catching the drone to continue the handheld shot. I mean, amazing.
I looked up the filming on the old wiki there, and this. It says that there is no CGI cut or blending of shots. Each episode takes 3 weeks with rehearsals, technical run-throughs.
Yeah.
And now I want to watch it in general based on the plot, and I'm fascinated just to see this. And it sounds like the show lives outside of the gimmick. It is an engrossing show outside of the gimmick.
I tuned into it because I was interested and heard good things about it from a storytelling standpoint, and it absolutely holds up that way. The acting is amazing. It's really, really well done. The kid, the 13-year-old, he is an actor who's never acted before. It's his first acting performance, and he's incredible. I mean, it's really, I mean, again, not a happy thing at any stretch of the imagination, but then when you go back to think about it and you go, wow, that like the fact that I guess it's like a play, like it's just an enhanced play across, and some of the other cool, I mean, it's some more like TV nerd stuff for you and me, but that some of the crew that couldn't get out of the way or couldn't be out of the way of filming, they would dress in like the school like a
Oh
student
yeah, yeah,
clothing or
to
something,
blend
so
them
they
in.
kind of blend in. It's cool.
That
It's just
makes sense.
stuff I didn't see specifically, but if I went back and watched it again, I'd probably look for it. But really, really, just I mean, cool from both a storytelling and really good drama, but also
Mhm.
just from a technical aspect, it's fun to watch too.
I'm fascinated. By the way, the last thing I'll say, just reading wiki, having not watched it,
Mm-hmm.
looking at, I believe it's the first season. The first episode was the second take. The second episode was the 13th take. The third episode was the 12th take. The fourth episode was the 16th take.
Yeah.
That's 16. How long are the episodes? Half hour, an hour?
I would say between that. So
Like your standard 45 minute
50 minutes. Yep.
So 45-minute 16th take. That was like, my God.
I know. So Stephen Graham, I think is the guy's name. I knew him. I think he was Tommy from Snatch. Like he was
Okay.
Jason Statham's like second guy. He was always like, who is it, Tommy? Is he German's the guy he's asking that? That's Stephen Graham. That's where I knew him from. But apparently he was in another movie in 2021 called Boiling Point. Same director and same idea. It was one take. And so he was, Stephen Graham wrote this and was a producer on it. So he, I think, contributed to understanding and maybe like having him connected and along with the director, they at least kind of know what they're in for. If somebody stumbled, they kind of determined it as it went, right? Like, so they said, okay, well, I stumbled, 17 minutes in, I noticed that one thing. And if it was just a slight stumble or somebody said what, and they repeated a line, if it still made sense in the, just normal conversation, they just left it in. I think there were instances of that, but if it was something that they had to bust, there was something, I think it happened with like 2 minutes left.
Oh.
I'd be so mad.
Could you imagine, if you're the reason that the 45-minute single take fucked up, like right near the end? Like, we work in live productions and we feel terrible with like one little, like if you've derailed that entire thing, my God. Let's talk a little Happy Gilmore. What'd you think?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Gilmore 2.
It was fine. So I think, I don't know if and I don't want to diminish it because it wasn't a bad movie. There are certainly instances where we get to sequels and you're just like, oh, this is brutal.
And some of them have been Adam Sandler movies, I feel like. Because I've never wanted to see a grown-ups again.
This was harmless. So I guess I'll put it that way, right? Like this was not, I think I was expecting maybe a little more. How did I phrase it? I think I phrased it to you that it was similar to me, the Coming to America sequel that was on Amazon Prime for the Coming to America, like Coming #2 America sequel with Eddie Murphy.
I liked this more than I liked that.
I guess I'd go there, but I think it was similar in a similar vein where it just tried to pull a little too much nostalgia. Like I get that's the idea of a sequel, but I think some of the better sequels that we have use kind of what we already know and still mine it for good things. I don't know if this did that enough. It just kept being self-referential and being like, look at all these cool cameos. Happy Gilmore's initial, I mean, it was just kind of, I don't want to say lightning in a bottle, but like that was a perfect combo of great cameos. I mean, just to have it, obviously Barker's, but Lee Trevino is really funny in it. Like the 3 times he speaks up, and it just like, this time, I mean, I was very confused. They go to to go golf 18 holes with Tim Hurley's son, and at the shack where they're checking in, that's Kelsey Plum, who plays for I think she plays for the LA Sparks now, a WNBA star. And I'm just like, what? Why is she like nothing?
There was a lot of that
wrong, but it's like, why? Like, and there was a lot of those things where like, why is this person in there? It had kind of like. That's almost to me like that's a Farrelly thing too. Like the Farrelly brothers used to do that a lot, and I was just like, I don't know if I need that just to be like, oh look who's here, look who this person. That being said, I really enjoyed Bad Bunny. I think
he was great. He was definitely great.
I think I even texted you that I was like, I haven't had any real laugh out loud moments yet, and we're like 40 minutes into this. But when Bad Bunny visualized the guy getting eaten by the bear, that was pretty. Or Travis
Mhm.
Kelce getting eaten by the bear, I actually laughed out loud because that was really funny. And he was
That being
very
said,
good.
Travis Kelce, why is it Travis Kelce and not so like it just it's like
Uh,
that's another one that's
it's
just like, oh, look who we got.
he at least was in like an FX show or something. Not that I mean, it's completely just because he is an athlete that's looking to like try to find ways into things.
Right.
But at least that one I could say, oh, but similar. What are we doing? Like he doesn't need an extended scene. So I loved the shooter turned being the good guy. That was fun.
He was the best part of the movie.
I think
Christopher
you're right.
McDonald was entertaining, energetic. He had a passion and genuinely just an energy to the role that no one else had in delivering their lines, in part, being in the movie. He was committed so wholeheartedly that it's like I want more of him on the screen at any moment.
Yeah. I I also I mean, and I understand it was what the daughter was actually Adam Sandler's daughter, right? And I
And
think his
so was
other
the
daughter,
friend in the support group was his other
right,
daughter.
was his other daughter. There's a lot of Nepo stuff. Like, isn't Ben Stiller's daughter was the
Not a clue. Yeah.
I think she was the liquor store clerk.
Okay.
The family dynamics were still kind of nice and sweet and
Yeah.
harkened back to Happy at his core. He has the explosiveness, and kind of an assholeness, but he has a heart of gold and he carries that to his kids. Like, and a lot of those scenes with the kids, I thought were sweet and nice and still felt like, okay, they're here for each other, even though they're in a tough predicament. And I liked that part of it. I said, okay, that brings some heart and some warmth to this, which
I
I appreciate.
I am of the mind that I think I will really enjoyed the opening of watching him as a successful golfer with the admittedly dodgy CGI, but enough that it sold that we were looking at the younger Happy. And
Yep.
I watched a lot of that just thinking, oh, I think I would have enjoyed that movie a little more because
Mm.
this once again falls into why does every later in life sequel have to have the main character be just a wreck? They've lost everything. Every good thing that happened to them has gone to shit. There is not, I feel like, if you can think of one, tell me. There's not been one of these delayed sequels in the last 5 or 6 years where it started up and they're like, no, things are still good for me. Let's go on another adventure. It's always, I gotta rebuild my life.
Yeah.
Everything, that story you watched that you loved, it means nothing now. I have to build myself back up. And I'm just like, what? It's become a trope unto itself. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't feel like we have
Uh,
anything to say about this movie.
I yeah,
I
because
might cut this whole thing out. We have had nothing
yeah,
to say about Happy Gilmore 2.
I again, I didn't really like it, so it's I
Oh, see, so
was kind
why?
of like
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
I feel like you're hiding that you sort of were mad on it, but if you didn't like it, that's a different than meh.
Well, no, that's what I mean. That when I say I didn't like it, I say I was mad on it. I think that's
Okay,
accurate. I didn't openly hate it, but was just kind of like completely underwhelmed by it. So
I I'm telling you right now, I'm going to cut a lot of this Happy Gilmore talk out because we're going in circles on. It was fine. It was fine. And there's not anything that we're adding to any kind of conversation or debate or thought, which maybe that's the problem with the movie. Or maybe that's what works about the movie, that there isn't anything to talk about. It's popcorn fluff comedy that I put on for 2 hours and was fine with. And I'm really only talking about it again because of this.
and I think that was always going to be what its audience was, unless it was
Amazing.
amazing
Yeah.
and everybody was just like, wow, the performances, the things you're not expecting. If it was just going to be what this was, it's going to get people that loved the first movie and were intrigued to see what happens. And yeah, and
Yeah.
it drew those people. So
By the way, did you see the George Clooney quote from this week about that Jay Kelly movie that he and Adam Sandler are in?
no.
Okay, so I don't know much about the movie, but it's another one of those ones where every few years Adam Sandler shows that he can actually act,
Okay.
which good for him. I like it.
Hmm.
But uh, George Clooney came out, and I'm thinking of this in the fallout of everything we just said about how meh but fine this movie is, how he's enjoying himself, but it's not exactly an inspired film, is what we're trying to say, right?
There you go. Yeah.
So this is the quote. This film, more than any film Adam has done, shows what a beautiful, heartfelt, soulful actor he is. I kept telling the cast, don't call him Sandman. Don't talk to him like he's some goofy comedian. He's actually a really beautiful, wonderful actor. Because of what his paycheck is, which is doing big, goofy comedies, they can do that. That was they can do that. I added. I stumbled.
Mm.
When he does these other beautiful uncut gems kinds of movies, it reminds people of that. He's not just a good comedian. And I'm just like, that weirdly bothered me because Sandler calls himself the Sandman. I was at that Conan O'Brien thing, and he was yelling his own thing. It's like, it's a Sam, It's like Sandman. He was getting the crowd to interact with it. And I'm just like, he's like, hey, what's up? And somebody on the crew was like, hey, Sandman. And Clooney just stopped like, what the fuck did you just say? Hang on. No, you over here. You over here. No. This is high drama. This is high art. How dare you? How dare you? That's how George Clooney talks, I'm sure.
Yes.
But I don't know.
He's not Mr. Shabadoo. He is not Mr.
There's something pretentious about that quote that just rubs me the wrong way, especially for that quote coming out the same week as Happy Gilmore 2.
Right.
It's like, yes, I get Adam Sandler does actually have range. He does do good work when he chooses to do big, broad, good work. Broad is not the right term, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe cool it, Clooney. Like, come on.
That quote, though, still, and this made me jump to a different line of thinking, and maybe it makes me bump up Happy Gilmore 2 a little bit more in the sense of, by all accounts, Sandler is a great person, great human being. Like, but there's multiple accounts of him just being a really good dude. And I mean, all of his movies, obviously, a lot of his movies that he's made is just kind of favors to throw friends in there. Are some of them, right? Anyway.
By the way, you can tell I have to interrupt. You can tell that because they don't want Rob Schneider around them with his current status, that you can tell he was filmed in a closet for 45 seconds to stick in a dream sequence, and they went, have a nice day.
Say the line. You could do it.
Say the line. Take your paycheck.
You can do it, and you can leave. Goodbye.
Yes.
Maybe that's why Sandler ends up with all these cameos and all these other things. He's so famous that he's across a bunch of different things, and someone asks about something about someone, and he just is such a good dude to be like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Here, I got this thing you could throw in. We'll just try this. We'll put this in there. And I think it might be slightly at times to the detriment of his films, and maybe not even slightly, but I can appreciate him being a good dude to give people opportunities. So
yeah, no, good on. All right, let's move on. So we had Superman a couple of weeks ago, and we loved Superman. It brought such an energy and a positive feeling, and the box office has reflected how much people are loving it. The conversation was, all right, well, this shows that it's not superhero fatigue. If you can make a very good superhero film, people still want to see it and enjoy it. The conversation suddenly became, is this Marvel fatigue? And Fantastic Four First Steps comes out, and it is not matching Superman's box office. But it's a good movie. But is it as good? They're different movies, but is it breaking the Marvel mold yet not? Where do you stand? How much did you enjoy Fantastic Four First Steps?
I liked it. I would agree that it's not hitting the complete mark that Superman is, but that's not its fault, in my opinion. I know Fantastic Four were one of the first, right, in the Marvel universe.
They were literally the first of the modern Marvel era.
Right.
1961, a year before Spider-Man, they kickstarted what would become what you know today as Marvel Comics. That's why they're Marvel's first family. That's their tagline.
Sure. However, I would not say...
Don't you sure me. I know my shit. How dare you?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in the...
I don't know that much about Fantastic Four.
No, but in the wider kind of awareness of them, they're not the most known Marvel superhero.
Oh, right? Fuck no. No, they
in DC, it's probably between Superman and Batman, right? So I think that lends itself to this, right? That your people are going to see Superman because he is the most powerful, the biggest, DC superhero. But whereas the Fantastic Four doesn't fall into that vein. However, this to me, this I got Iron Man 1 vibes, like in this
That's
sense
because
of
it's self-contained.
yeah, and it felt like we were starting anew. Like I did
Mhm.
feel that from this. There wasn't this wasn't Thor Ragnarok or Guardians where there's a lot of, funny and quippy and all sorts of stuff that
Mhm.
I really are almost like a rollicking good time, but it was still just a well-designed movie. There was something about putting it in and this is not the Earth that we're on, right? This is Earth
Thank goodness.
828, right?
I'd
That
like to go
so
live there, please.
so there's a few things that are different, but it still had that I don't know, old school vibe to it. I really got that step back in time to this, even though this Earth is different. And it felt like a 60s movie or something like that. That was filmed very much of the time as we're getting into the next part of it. I enjoyed it for that. I thought the performances were really good. Nothing was over the top. I think the past Fantastic Fours have really suffered in. I know Johnny Storm is a big bombastic personality, but they've almost overdone it.
Except
This
except no, he's not. He's a slightly ditzy's not the right. He is a womanizer, but more of a playboy.
oh,
This
okay,
was an accurate take. This
okay.
was
Well,
now
then I
listen,
appreciated that.
of his era. Chris Evans was of his era at that time.
Okay.
Those 2000s. I mean, come on. The fact that he had the shaved head is stunning to me. That man could have had frosted tips with that character that he was playing.
Yeah.
That's a frosted tips type
Yeah.
character. But the characterization in this movie for what the characters are, and again, it's not like I'm knee deep in a million Fantastic Four comics, but if
Yep.
all you know is the movies and you're expecting a certain style of character from that, this nailed what I feel like I was expecting out of it.
Yeah. I would agree. And it had I don't want to say a singular purpose, but it was uh it was establishing them as these defenders against this, literally universal threat, and working together and also introducing a new eventual superhero into the mix because Franklin is like powerful as shit, right? Like he is big time, right? I don't know the comic canon, but
So the comic canon is, again, it's not like I'm well versed, but I'm versed enough.
we're spoilering, by the way. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Whatever,
But
fucking, I don't care. So the thing about Franklin in the comics is he's often so overpowered that I feel like you get every 5 years a storyline where they just have to depower him for some reason. You're like, oh, no, they blocked it. Oh, no, an alien took it away. Oh, no, this or that.
That's like X-Men Apocalypse type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, they're just like, oh, because otherwise you have a character who can fix every problem, who
Right.
can do everything.
It's a short movie.
Exactly. And one of my favorite ones that I'm trying to remember the exact thing, but basically in the comics at one point, he just decided he was going to grow up, and he did. And for a long time, he was just like either a late era teenager, an early 20s adult, just because he decided. And it's that kind of power. One of the most famous ones is the mid 90s, where they wanted to give all the image creators who were coming back to Marvel a crack at the famous characters again. And they didn't want to give them the mainline titles. They wanted to let them start fresh. So they genuinely did a big event where they removed the Avengers and the Fantastic Four from the main continuity of Marvel and did a year where they were their own universe. And they used Franklin for that. It was to protect his parents and all of his parents' friends who were about to die fighting this big villain in the regular Marvel world. He created this pocket universe where they went to instead, and it eventually unraveled when, more Franklin bullshit. It's because he's that level of powerful. He is technically a mutant, like an X-Men level Omega mutant. I doubt, who knows if they'll touch on that in the movies once they mesh everything together. Because some famous storylines in the comics involve Xavier basically being like, come on, send the kid to the school. And Reed being like, no. And then it was like, come on. And Reed being like, no, seriously, stop bothering us.
Is Doomsday the next one in line? Like, is that the next?
God, I think so, but not till mid 2026 or late 2026. And it
Okay.
still doesn't feel built up to the level that Infinity War was built up.
Right.
Because of the way the last couple phases were stumbled, I know there's going to be hype, but I feel like it's gimmicked hype.
Okay.
I'm excited and I want it to do well and I want to see what's going on, but the Robert Downey Jr. shit still feels like stunt casting to me. It still
Yeah.
feels like we needed to pull the trigger on something that is not working and we need to get eyeballs back on it. I would be, I think, as excited or maybe even a little bit more if it was just we're building to Doom proper and there's going to be someone playing Doom perfectly as Doom, not, oh, we're going to have to figure out why this, why that, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. I'm just like, oh, God. We're trying to do. Fantastic Four was built to get away from that kind of baggage,
Right.
but you're instantly building in the baggage as soon as Doom's showing up the way that you're handling it.
It does seem quick, although I get it because he is their main foe. So
And they did pepper it in, like they had the Latveria, in their whatever they called their United Nations, and Doom is the ruler of Latveria. There was no one at there. They showed the empty seat a couple of times to show that Latveria clearly exists and Doom is not participating, or someone from his government or representative is not participating. And then the post-credit scene is not exactly right away because Franklin's a toddler now. And I'm
yep.
under the impression that was a natural passage of time, not he woke up and decided to be a toddler. So I would say, and then Doom's there.
Yeah, didn't they? Isn't there something?
Did they say
Didn't
like
it
4
say a
years
year
later?
later
Or
or
do
something?
they?
Or
I don't
yeah,
fucking remember.
yeah, I think
All
they
right,
may
cool.
have. I just don't remember the amount of time. But
Also, do you think that was actually, I didn't look it up. I can look it up right now. Was that actually Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom, or did they just throw a green cape on somebody?
uncredited, yeah, but that's yeah, that was him.
Oh,
so.
it was actually him.
Yep.
Okay, great. So like, show
You
a
never, I
corner,
mean, you never see
show a
anything,
corner
obviously.
of the fucking face or something. Really tease people with it. Somebody pointed this out to me, and I would need to see it again. Did you see that the pregnancy test Sue uses is a Stark pregnancy test in this multiverse 60s thing?
I didn't. That's
Neither
interesting.
did I, but it is confirmed on various this or that or whatever's. So my question is this Doom going to be Victor Von Doom? Are they going to say Dr. Doom is a Tony Stark variant, which I do not know if I would like. I would like Victor Von Doom, please.
I don't like the answer, but I think that's probably the way they're gonna go.
It's going to be a Tony Stark variant, and he became
which opens up. I mean, they're not gonna bring back Tony Stark, obviously, but that just brings back Iron Man, Tony Stark, kind of either AI or something like that. Which I hope they avoid, but that makes me nervous. And I mean, maybe it's not. I don't know. Are there other? I don't know how we get into variants regardless. So, like, I mean, is there? I mean, could there be a different Stark? He didn't have any brothers or sisters, right?
No, but I mean, you never know different universes. And also, to be fair, they have very well established that not all variants of each other have to look like each other, considering the fact that we've seen the different Human Torches. We've seen now different Mr. Fantastics in the MCU doing different versions of things. So
Spider-Man.
Right. Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Just because it looks like Robert Downey Jr. doesn't mean it's Tony Stark. But with that Stark pregnancy test, I'm like, oh, it's subtle, but ugh. I just burped a 5-hour energy.
Nice.
It's subtle, but there's something there. Talking about other things, for me personally, whatever else this movie could be, and we could get back to the crafting and the bigger world building, whatever. As a fan, I got a perfect Galactus story, self-contained, exactly what I wanted, on film, comics accurate. Whatever else comes of this, I give a golf clap, wipe a slight tear away, and say, we did it. We did it, Joe.
There you go.
It's funny, though, how non-comics fans, and I'm curious how you reacted to this. I had a friend of mine text me and go, I hated the ending, because the surfer just comes in and like they wouldn't have won without the surfer. They would have never had it. And I was like, yeah, because that's kind of her arc, but also that's really what happens in the comics. It's a losing battle. The surfer has to turn on Galactus to turn the tide. That's comics accurate. He's like, oh, I guess maybe it's okay then. Do you have any issues with how that played
Doesn't.
out?
And I always thought the
Also, Keith,
surfer.
if you're listening, I'm sorry that I just made you sound like that. No, it's okay. Derp, I'm Keith. I'm
the
so sorry.
Wow,
I'm so sorry, Keith.
adding the derp.
I swear he said it.
The surfer ends up helping and becoming part of the good guys anyway at times, right? Throughout the
Yeah,
comics,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's I mean, never a complete.
But looking at it a different way, in a bubble for the film, did you have a problem when watching the film with the way it was resolved?
No, because eventually, I mean, you see uh, no matter how much you've given up to try and save what you think is needed to be saved, and you've, committed to serving this entity, at some point, if your conscience takes over, like that's the thing, right? It didn't take over her mind.
Right.
So I didn't have an issue with it because I mean, did it happen at a very convenient time? Sure. But I mean, that's a movie. But I didn't think that it
Wait,
was out of
what?
the.
I thought this was
What?
a documentary.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I felt like it fit within the
Okay.
character and what was going on. I mean, the breakthrough that Johnny had, figuring out her language, and there was enough that I think there was enough of a connection that they had that she felt connected to. It didn't feel as, she was just doing this to anyone as a, just taking out what her master is telling her to do. She had a different connection and wanted to fight back.
Yeah, that's fair. I buy that. And also, hang on, I got to put on my voice. You ready? I'm gonna take a. I've got to influence the YouTube algorithm, who trend in a way I don't really like,
Yeah.
but maybe these words will pick up on it. Okay, you
Okay.
ready? I would like it to note, if you're seeing this, if you're listening to the show, or you're seeing this on TikTok or Instagram, I don't feel this way, but the words have to filter through to YouTube.
Okay.
Also, a woman Silver Surfer. Oh, what, are we supposed to believe in space vaginas now? For fuck's sake. All right, I did. Okay, good. We're all right. Anyway, where were we? As a non-comics person, but as a film
Mhm.
person, I don't know where you could go on this. Are you aware of the 1994 Fantastic Four movie with the rights issues and the Roger Corman of it all?
I was not until I started to look up things after I watched the movie. So I know where you're going, but I'll hang out. Yeah.
Oh, no, I just want to say, watch the Amazon Prime documentary Doomed. It is an amazing piece of work that can go into all of it more than I ever could in such a better way.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that the 4 actors who were in the failed 1994, let me dial back in case there is anyone listening who doesn't know. In 1994, they made a Fantastic Four movie that was never released to theaters. Roger Corman, famous B-level movie producer, was given $1 million to make it. The catch being, it was never going to be released. They did it to hang on to the rights, much like how Spider-Man movies have to be made every couple of years for Sony to hang on to the rights. They decided to make a Fantastic Four movie, not tell the crew, not tell the actors, with no intention of ever releasing it. It's got like unfinished special effects. There's no ADR. There's a bootleg cut that became very famous. I actually had a copy as a kid and I watched it. And here's what I'd say. Plot-wise, the most accurate Fantastic Four movie we ever got. The problem was everything else around it. It was, the actors did their best, but there's no money and there was never supposed to be any real money. Those 4 actors, in the beginning of the movie where they're showing all the, I love the Fantastic Four. Thanks, Fantastic Four. They show a group of 4 people, those actors. In 1994, original actors in that scene. And I was like, they finally got their Fantastic Four payday, and I'm so happy for them.
So, and then the one thing about that is the guy that played Doom in the 1994 movie is not in it. And then there's speculation, is he going to show up in Doomsday somewhere
as like
an
a
Easter
variant?
egg, as an Easter egg there? Yeah.
That'd be fun. Man, what a grift, though. Listen, I would be happy. Here's my question. What character do you think has cheap enough movie rights that we could buy it and start to make a movie that seems so offensive to the creator or fan base that they would pay us not to release it? I've made a cheap, shitty movie before. Yeah. I could do this. What character? Family Circus. What's the Family Circus up to these days? Is that Billy running around the neighborhood with the dad?
The dotted line, yeah.
I'm going to do the dark, gritty reboot of Family Circus.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going to film it. I'm going to start releasing a trailer. And my hope is they get a hold of me to pay me off. They're like, listen, you misled us, just like the Fantastic Four movie. We will give you XYZ to not release this film. And that's my payday.
We remake like Calvin and Hobbes as like the good son, and
Whoa. Hey,
like
you slow your roll. I have far too much respect for Calvin and Hobbes and Bill
fair.
Watterson to fuck with Calvin and
It was
Hobbes.
the first one I came up with. I would never want to ruin the brilliance that is
Okay, good.
that comic. So.
What other shitty Sunday
Right.
Sunday comic strips can we take the piss out of, actually?
Andy Cap.
Oi!
No.
Oi! It's Andy Cap. Actually, do Andy Cap, but as an American doing the most offensive British accent. Oi! Give me the goddamn chips and the fucking gats. Nailed it. I knew. Oh. No. I was gonna say I have a cap I could throw on, but it's not worth it. I'm just gonna go get it. Anything else you got to say on Fantastic Four? Any other thoughts?
I think, as I said, it felt very Iron Man in terms of initial kickoff to the next part, right?
Yeah.
It felt like we are establishing a lot. This was, but a little more. It felt a little more dramatic than other Marvel movies.
I think
mean,
it's
not overly so, but
it's
like
because
it just
not everyone's quipping every fucking line, and it helps and it shows. I don't think it was a dramatic movie. They just weren't constantly fucking joking. They just acted.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just a superhero movie. Yeah.
It was good. It didn't break the mold. It was, if they changed up the formula, it was more that it wasn't trying to put a circle in a square. It was they made a slightly bigger circle that was different, but still fit the circle in. That was the Marvel formula with a twist. So it was good, but whatever.
And I think with a supervillain coming like Doom, this is the right approach. Like I don't know why the quips seem to work a little bit more against Thanos. I don't know why. In my head, that makes a little more sense, even though Thanos is terrifying as well. There's something to it that they can bounce and trade barbs, but with Doom, it's a lot. Shit's getting real.
Yeah, that's fair. But we'll wrap this up. We'll get out of here. It's fun talking some movies with you. And normal social media plugs: Mike Barcode, MikeBarcode, TikTok, Instagram. Thanks to all the new people following Instagram. I know it's not a podcast follow, but hopefully some of you have found your way here after watching my sketches and random shit, as those have been doing better. And that's awesome, and I'm really appreciating that. I hope that translates to you guys listening and enjoying this and our dumb bullshit.
Indeed.
But we'll get out of here. And as always, for the new people, I ramble a lot, but I always make sure to give Randy the final word.
And that final word is goodbye, everybody.
I wanted to say those words, but that doesn't give you the final word. So now I have to stop and let you say one more thing.
Bye.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I did it again. One more?
Stop.
Good. Fuck.
Scene.
All right, good. We'll end it with the scene.
I was like, I was trying to think of one word that would get you to shut up. I was like,
all right.